As the years go by, many of us begin to feel a subtle shift in the way we approach life. What once seemed essential, the fast pace, the constant striving, the endless pursuit of more, begins to feel overwhelming. For those of us in our 50s and beyond, the reality of the world around us can often feel like a heavy burden. We may find ourselves questioning the energy and time we invest in daily routines, tasks, and commitments that no longer bring joy or fulfillment. With age, priorities naturally change, and we begin to ask ourselves, why do I continue to chase things that no longer serve me? Why do I keep adding more when I already feel weighed down? It is at this point in life that the importance of simplifying begins to take shape. The thought of simplifying your life, of doing less, might seem daunting at first. After all, we have spent so many years building careers, raising families, acquiring material possessions, improving ourselves in various ways. We've been taught that success is measured by what we have and what we can achieve, often pushing us into an endless cycle of pursuit. But as we grow older, we realize that these external achievements no longer hold the same value. What once seemed like the pinnacle of success now feels like unnecessary clutter in our schedules, our homes, and even our minds. It becomes evident that what really matters is not more, but less done with more intention and purpose. So how do we begin to simplify? How do we take the first steps towards creating a life that is filled not with excess, but with meaning? And perhaps more importantly, what should we focus on as we shift our priorities? These are the questions that many of us face as we approach this new chapter in life. The process of simplification isn't just about letting go of material possessions. Yes, cleaning out the closets and decluttering the house are important steps, but simplification runs much deeper than that. It involves clearing away the mental and emotional clutter that weighs us down, the stress from work, the pressure to keep up with others, the guilt of not doing enough. All of these burdens contribute to a sense of overwhelm that affects our well-being. And as we get older, we begin to realize that shedding these burdens is not only possible, but necessary for finding peace and joy. Simplifying is not about eliminating everything that brings us comfort, but about letting go of the things that drain our energy and no longer align with who we are today. As we age, the need to prove ourselves diminishes. The children have grown and are leading their own lives. Careers begin to wind down, and the pressure to be constantly busy or constantly achieving becomes less urgent. Yet with this shift comes a sense of uncertainty for some. If we no longer define ourselves by our work or our parenting roles, who are we now? What is our purpose in this new phase of life? This is where the act of simplifying comes in. It provides the space and clarity we need to redefine ourselves and find new purpose. Simplifying your life isn't about losing something. It's about gaining clarity, focus, and peace of mind. It's about creating room to breathe both physically and emotionally. It's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity, I don't have enough time, I need more, to one of abundance. As we let go of the excess, we open ourselves up to the present moment, allowing us to experience life more fully and deeply. It's about making space to reflect on what truly matters to us so that we can make conscious choices to focus on those things. The idea of simplifying can sometimes feel overwhelming. After all, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that we need to completely overhaul our lives. But the truth is, simplifying doesn't have to be a dramatic, all-encompassing change. It's about taking small, incremental steps that gradually lead to a life that feels more aligned with our true selves. We can start with small changes, whether it's decluttering a room, setting healthier boundaries, or eliminating unnecessary commitments, and build from there. At its core, simplifying is a practice. It's not something that happens overnight, and it's not a one-time fix. It's a way of living with intention, of making conscious choices every day to prioritize what truly matters. It's about creating a life that feels more authentic and less burdened by the noise of the world. And the sooner we begin, the more we'll benefit in the long run. For those of us over 50, this shift towards simplicity can be incredibly liberating. It's a time when we can reassess our values and focus on what truly brings us joy. It's a time to let go of things both physical and mental that no longer serve us. We can create space for new experiences, for the things that bring us peace, and for the relationships that nourish our souls. As the years pass and we move through different stages of life, we inevitably accumulate not only physical possessions, but also emotional baggage, responsibilities, and commitments that no longer serve us. For many of us, the process of aging reveals a powerful truth. Holding on to these things, whether material or emotional, only weighs us down, preventing us from truly living the life we want to live. The act of letting go, releasing what no longer serves us, is an essential part of simplifying our lives and creating the peace and freedom we all desire. As we get older, the idea of simplifying our lives becomes more and more appealing. We start to recognize that the clutter around us, both physical and emotional, is a reflection of the clutter within us. Over the years, we've accumulated possessions that once seemed important, that once had meaning, but now have become burdens. These things, whether it's furniture, books, clothing, or keepsakes, once served a purpose, but as time goes on, they begin to feel like just another layer of weight on our shoulders. We hold on to these items because they represent memories, achievements, or even a version of ourselves that we no longer recognize or need. For many people over 50, letting go of these material possessions is one of the first steps in simplifying their lives. We may find that we've collected more things than we truly need, and over time, these possessions have taken up not only physical space, but also mental energy. You may have spent years accumulating these items, thinking they brought you comfort or value, but as you enter this stage of life, they may begin to feel like nothing more than obligations. You might look around your home and realize that the things you've collected over the years no longer bring you joy. They've simply become clutter. They take up space in your home, but more importantly, they take up space in your mind. Letting go of these things can be incredibly freeing. It's not about rejecting the past or the memories that are attached to these items, but about making space for the present and the future. It's about recognizing that happiness and fulfillment do not come from the things we accumulate, but from the people, experiences, and moments that bring us joy and meaning. The process of decluttering your space allows you to open up room for new experiences, for connections with loved ones, and for creating memories that truly matter. It's an invitation to release the past and create a future that aligns more closely with who you are today. But simplifying isn't just about physical possessions. In fact, the emotional and mental clutter that we carry with us can be even more limiting. Over the years, many of us accumulate emotional baggage, unresolved regrets, old wounds, fears, and anxieties that weigh us down. As we age, we may still be holding on to past hurts, unresolved grudges, or mistakes we've made. These emotions, which are often carried deep inside, can create a sense of heaviness that affects our well-being. When we refuse to let go of the emotional clutter, we remain stuck in the past, and we carry that emotional weight with us every day. Letting go of this emotional baggage is just as important, if not more so, than clearing out the physical clutter. It involves forgiving ourselves for past mistakes, letting go of old hurts, and releasing fears about the future. We often think that holding on to these emotions gives us control or a sense of protection, but in reality, they only prevent us from moving forward. When we hold on to regret, shame, or anger, we're keeping ourselves tied to old versions of ourselves that no longer serve us. By forgiving ourselves and letting go of these old emotional ties, we free up space in our hearts and minds to live more fully in the present. This process of releasing unnecessary burdens is not something that happens overnight. It's a gradual journey that requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to confront our inner world. It's important to remember that letting go doesn't mean forgetting or erasing the past. It means making peace with it. It means accepting that we've learned from our experiences, but we no longer need to carry the weight of them. It's about choosing to focus on the present and the future, rather than staying stuck in the past. Letting go starts with small steps. You don't have to throw everything out or make drastic changes overnight. Start by cleaning out a drawer, a closet, or a room. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Does this item bring me joy or serve a purpose in my life now? If the answer is no, then it's time to let it go. Similarly, begin to identify the emotional baggage you're carrying. What unresolved emotions or thoughts are weighing you down? What old hurts or grudges are you still holding on to? Start the process of releasing them, whether it's through journaling, talking to someone you trust, or simply practicing forgiveness. Letting go is a deeply personal process, and it's different for everyone. Some people may find it easier to let go of physical possessions, while others may struggle with emotional attachments. But the key is to be gentle with yourself. Letting go is not about perfection or doing it all at once. It's about progress, not perfection. Each time you let go of something that no longer serves you, whether it's an object or an emotion, you make more room for peace, for joy, and for the things that truly matter in your life. When you begin to release what no longer serves you, you will find that you are left with the things that truly matter: your health, your relationships, and your ability to enjoy the simple moments in life. By clearing away the physical and emotional clutter, you open up space for the things that bring you happiness and fulfillment. You make room for new experiences, for deeper connections with others, and for a life that feels lighter, more authentic, and more aligned with who you are today. Releasing unnecessary burdens is a powerful act of self-care. It's an act of reclaiming your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. It's about taking back control of your life and choosing to focus on the things that truly bring you joy and meaning. By simplifying and letting go, you create the space you need to live more fully, to be present in the moment, and to embrace the beauty of life without the weight of excess. The more you let go, the more you will find that life becomes richer, more vibrant, and more rewarding. As we grow older and embrace the journey of simplifying our lives, it becomes clear that the things we should prioritize are not the same as those we chased in our younger years. In our youth, we often place a significant emphasis on external accomplishments and material success, believing that the more we have and the more we do, the happier and more fulfilled we will be. But as we age, a shift occurs. We begin to realize that the true sources of joy, fulfillment, and meaning in life are not things but relationships, health, and well-being. These are the things that give life depth, and as we simplify, they should take center stage in our lives. For those of us over 50, simplifying isn't just about decluttering our homes or reducing the number of commitments on our calendars. It's about reevaluating how we spend our time and what we choose to invest our energy in. It's about taking a hard look at our priorities and asking ourselves, what truly matters to me? What brings me happiness, peace, and fulfillment? And perhaps most importantly, how can I create more space for these things in my life? The first area we need to focus on is our relationships. As we age, we realize that the most valuable thing in life is the connections we have with others. The time spent with family, friends, and loved ones becomes the most precious part of our existence. Unfortunately, in the hustle and bustle of life, many of us find that we have let important relationships fall by the wayside, distracted by work obligations and other external pursuits. But as we simplify, it's essential to prioritize the relationships that bring us joy, support, and love. For many people over 50, this might mean spending more time with family members, especially as children grow older and families evolve. It may mean strengthening bonds with close friends, re-establishing connections that may have weakened over the years due to busy schedules or physical distance. Reconnecting with people who matter to us is an incredibly rewarding aspect of life as we simplify. The time we spend with others, whether it's sharing a meal, having a conversation, or simply sitting together in silence is time that enriches us and contributes to our overall well-being. But nurturing relationships isn't just about spending time with others, it's also about setting healthy boundaries. As we age, we often realize that we don't have the same energy or desire to overextend ourselves the way we did in our younger years. This can be a difficult realization, especially for those who have spent much of their lives trying to please others or meet external expectations. But simplifying life means learning to say no to commitments or obligations that drain our energy. It means taking a step back from relationships or responsibilities that no longer align with our values or bring us joy. At this stage of life, it's essential to recognize that we don't have to do everything for everyone. We've earned the right to be selective with where we invest our time and energy. Simplifying relationships means focusing on the people who truly add value to our lives and setting boundaries with those who may not. It's about protecting your emotional space, choosing relationships that are reciprocal, nurturing, and uplifting. By doing so, you create more room for the relationships that really matter and let go of those that are toxic or draining. As we simplify our relationships, we also need to prioritize our own well-being. For many of us, as we age, we find that taking care of our health, both physical and emotional, becomes more important than ever. In our younger years, we often neglect our well-being in favor of other priorities, like career advancement, social obligations, or chasing success. However, as we grow older, it becomes clear that our health is the foundation upon which everything else in our lives rests. Without good health, it's difficult to enjoy meaningful relationships, pursue passions, or fully experience life. Simplifying our lives means making time to care for ourselves. This can take many forms, but at its core, self-care is about nurturing our body, mind, and spirit. For some, it might mean incorporating regular physical activity into the daily routine. Exercise doesn't need to be intense, but simple activities like walking, yoga, or swimming can do wonders for both physical and mental health. Regular physical movement helps reduce stress, improve mood, and boost energy levels, contributing to better sleep and overall well-being. However, self-care isn't just about physical health. It's equally important to focus on emotional and mental well-being. As we age, it's not uncommon to experience feelings of isolation, anxiety, or even depression. Life changes such as retirement, the loss of loved ones, or health challenges can all contribute to emotional strain. Simplifying life means acknowledging these feelings and making time for activities that help alleviate stress and promote mental clarity. This can include practices like meditation, mindfulness, journaling, or simply taking quiet moments throughout the day to relax and recharge. In addition to external practices like exercise and relaxation, simplifying our lives also means adopting an attitude of self-compassion. Many of us are our harshest critics, always striving for perfection and pushing ourselves to do more, even when our bodies and minds are telling us to slow down. Simplifying life means learning to be kinder to ourselves, letting go of unrealistic expectations, and embracing the idea that it's okay to rest, to make mistakes, and to focus on what truly matters to us. We don't need to prove anything to anyone. By letting go of this pressure, we create more space for inner peace and emotional healing. Self-compassion also means forgiving ourselves for past mistakes and releasing any feelings of guilt or regret. As we age, we may look back on life and wish we had made different choices. However, simplifying our emotional life involves accepting that the past is gone and we cannot change it. What we can control is how we choose to move forward. By letting go of past hurts and focusing on what we can do now, we empower ourselves to live in the present and embrace the opportunities that lie ahead. Simplifying our lives isn't just about cutting things out. It's about making room for what truly matters. By prioritizing our relationships and our well-being, we create a life that is not only simpler, but richer in meaning and fulfillment. It's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity, always feeling like we need more, to one of abundance, recognizing that we already have everything we need to live a fulfilling life. As we focus on what matters, we find more joy in the little things, more peace in the present moment, and greater satisfaction in the relationships we nurture and the self-care practices we embrace. In conclusion, the older we get, the more we realize that life is not about accumulating things or achievements. It's about focusing on what truly matters. As we simplify, we make room for deeper connections with others, better health, and greater peace of mind. By prioritizing relationships and well-being, we can create a life that is not only simpler, but more meaningful, peaceful, and joyful. The key to living well as we age is to let go of the unnecessary and to focus on the things that truly make life worth living. Having explored the importance of simplifying and letting go of what no longer serves us, it's now time to focus on the most crucial step in this process: taking action. Simplifying your life may seem daunting at first, but the good news is that it doesn't need to happen all at once. It's not about making radical overnight changes. Instead, simplifying is a gradual, ongoing process, one that starts with small, manageable steps. The key is to take it one step at a time, to break the process down into achievable goals, and to make progress in a way that feels empowering, not overwhelming. The first and most obvious place to start is by decluttering your home. For many of us, our living spaces become filled with things we no longer need, but that we hold on to because of habit, sentiment, or fear of letting go. It's easy to accumulate physical clutter over time, and as we age, this clutter can begin to feel like a burden rather than something useful. So how do we begin to simplify our living space? The answer is simple. Start small. Pick one room, one drawer, or even one closet at a time, and begin by asking yourself a fundamental question. Do I really need this? If the answer is no, then it's time to let it go. Don't overthink it or try to justify keeping things out of guilt or obligation. If an item no longer serves a meaningful purpose or brings you joy, release it. It's often the case that we hold on to objects that have lost their relevance in our lives only for them to take up space physically in our homes and mentally in our minds. By decluttering and letting go of unnecessary items, you'll find that your space feels lighter, calmer, and more open. The process of decluttering creates more than just physical space. It also creates emotional and mental space, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. Once you've tackled the physical clutter, the next step is to simplify your schedule. We often fill our calendars with appointments, commitments, and social obligations, many of which may no longer align with our true priorities. As we get older, it's easy to feel obligated to stay busy, to maintain the same level of social activity, work commitments, or volunteer responsibilities that we had in the past. But the truth is, we don't have to keep doing everything. Simplifying your schedule doesn't mean saying no to everything, but it does mean being more intentional about where you invest your time and energy. Start by evaluating your commitments and asking yourself, am I doing this because I genuinely want to, or am I doing this out of a sense of obligation? If the activity, commitment, or social engagement no longer brings you joy or adds value to your life, consider scaling it back or letting it go altogether. Simplifying your schedule means prioritizing the things that align with your values and bring you fulfillment. It might involve saying no to invitations, cutting back on work hours, or even stepping away from volunteer roles that no longer resonate with you. By freeing up time, you create space for the activities and relationships that truly nourish you, whether that's spending time with family, dedicating more time to personal hobbies, or simply resting. Simplifying your life also means embracing the present moment and learning to appreciate the simple joys of life. It's easy to get caught up in the rush to do more, achieve more, and acquire more. But true happiness is not found in the pursuit of endless goals or possessions. It's found in the small, quiet moments of life. Those moments that are often overlooked when we are preoccupied with our to-do lists and future plans. Take a moment to reflect on the simple pleasures that bring you joy. Perhaps it's a cup of coffee in the morning enjoyed slowly while listening to the sound of birds outside. Maybe it's a walk in the park taking in the beauty of nature, or a deep conversation with a loved one. These moments may seem small, but they are often the moments that bring the most peace and contentment. By simplifying your life, you create more space for these kinds of moments. When we are less distracted by the chaos of daily life, we are able to experience the present more fully. In addition to simplifying your physical space and schedule, simplifying also means finding joy in simplicity. You don't need grand experiences or elaborate plans to feel fulfilled. Sometimes the most meaningful moments in life are the simplest ones. By embracing simplicity, you open yourself up to the beauty of life as it is, without the need for constant striving or achievement. You start to realize that happiness doesn't come from acquiring more. It comes from being present and appreciating what you already have. So how can we continue on this path toward a simpler, more fulfilling life? Start by taking small steps, and remember that simplification is a gradual process. It's not about perfection or making dramatic changes overnight. It's about making intentional choices every day that bring you closer to the life you truly want to live. The older we get, the more we realize that life is not about accumulating more, it's about appreciating what we already have. By simplifying your life, you can create more space for what truly matters: your health, your relationships, and your happiness. Start small, take action, and embrace the process. As you simplify, you'll find that life becomes not only easier, but also richer, fuller, and more meaningful. Simplifying isn't about losing. It's about gaining peace, clarity, and the freedom to focus on what brings you joy. As you embark on your journey toward a simpler life, remember that this process is uniquely yours. It's about finding what works for you, what brings you joy, and what makes you feel at peace. Take one small step today, whether it's decluttering a single drawer, simplifying your schedule by saying no to one unnecessary commitment, or taking time to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. Each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to a life that is less about the hustle and more about what truly fulfills you. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below and share one small step you'll take towards simplifying your life. Remember, the simpler your life, the more space you'll have for what matters most. Take action today and start living the life you deserve.